Alright, hi everyone. So I've made a little gasket, I guess you can call it, for this little area here. So now what I'm going to do is I'll probably end up remaking one of these now. Although I've done all the holes, now I know exactly how I need to do this bit here, because what I'm going to do is make a little piece underneath for lighting. So I'm going to print out this piece here in a fluoro, the same sort of filament as this, and then print the rest of this out in just the same PETG. At the moment this is printed in PLA, that's why I've got to print it out again anyway. So that'll be the plan, and I'll do some little cleanups on the model, and this will be for the final print now. I end up redesigning those side panels and just including some screws into them, and provision for that neon light. So I'll be printing this in like 2 layers, and have this component here, the back wall, printed in that neon, and then the rest of it will be printed in the normal filament. So I'm just going to set the printer up and let it go. I've set up the printers. I've got 2 of them going. Both are about 3-day prints. And we'll see what they come up like. So what I did is I started off with the grey now, and then once I get about 4 or 5 layers in there, I'm going to switch to the neon, and then I'll go back to the grey. So I'll do that whole wall first, and then I'll go to the grey. Day 2 of the print, or day 1.5 I guess, coming up quite well. This one now is caught up to this one, so I'll be making a change very soon. It's printing now the face for the port itself, and once it's finished doing that and it starts just printing the outside, I'll then change filament. Alright, so I'm ready for the layer change. I've done this one already. I'm going to try and do this with one hand. You can see that it started now to just print the outside. See the thickness here. Anyway, you can see there how it looks. So we're just starting to do it. So what I'll do is I'll chop it from here, so there's plenty of distance, and then I'll chop it here as well. I'll do this one hand, and I'll grab this. Give me a second. I've fed that through now. So what I'll do is I'll cut this off here. Look at that. And start feeding this through. Bad. That's it. That's the change. Ready to go. Start to see the contrast now between the neon and the normal filament. See the areas that are left inside the pocket. That way the neon inside here will reflect it from here and charge the actual neon, because it's UV reactive. See how it works. Alright, these came up pretty nice, finished up now. A little bit messy, but I'll just clean these up. These are nothing to clean up. I'll pull them off now and see how they fit. See how I got, that's where the did you hear that noise? That's where the, what do you call it, it kept on changing each layer. If you notice with this one I didn't get it, so it's all in the G code. So what I should have done is probably told this to start from the outside and then finish on the inside. So at the moment it must have think that this is the inside, or the inside, I think, maybe like that. Anyway, yeah, I heard that, which means something's lifted here. I've got a port going on here. Yeah, it looks good. Just running it slow. This is a 10-inch port, which I'll show in one of my videos next. Alright, let's get this off. So this is something that I've been exploring, just using a bit of heat. And what it does, it just cleans it all up. Right, they're all finished, pulled them off, they come up really nice. I even actually managed to put the logo here. But what I did different to these from the original ones is, if you notice, I have a gap down the bottom, and I really had no way of mounting it. Although I screwed it, I was trying to figure out initially how I was going to put the perspex in, so I started drilling. But with the drill bit, what it's doing, it's melting the plastic. So at the end of the day, I just reprinted them and advanced the design, and had the opportunity to do two tones in it. So this back bit here is the actual neon, and if you notice, I've actually got a little slot in here where the neon can actually sit in, and what it does, it will light that actually back face. So we'll try that out after anyway. But you can see I've got all the screws in there. You saw how thick I printed this. This actually weighs almost 2 kilos. But it'd be interesting to see how they finish off. See, I've got a little beautiful heaps of screws going around, so I can get a good seal. So the idea is now to screw straight into the box, or either buy some bolts and just sort of squash it as much as I can together. And then this will have a little cover that will cover all the stuff that I'll put in here. Little provision for the perspex. They should fit nicely. Let's see if that fits. Mr. Mac here is getting old, fellas. Alright, see that? Beautiful. So now I'll drill the holes for that. And then that becomes the case. Let's do that and I'll move on. Alright, put it on. That's what it looks like. Let's see if I can zoom out. That's as far as I can zoom out. I'm just sticking some UV on it. And that's it. And then you got that one in there as well that lights up. Just needs a little bit of charge and she's off. Even through the day, it looks like when you hit it with a bit of charge, because there's plenty of light in here. It's all experimental, of course. See how it works. Let's see what happens when I put it here. It'll be interesting to see if it works, how well it works when I put the light under here, and if it works. Because look, I'm putting light here, but it's only charging that component. Where if you hit it directly, anyway, we'll explore that later. So I'm just making a gasket for the Fibonacci port. I'm going to make this in 1mm in TPU and see how it goes. The gasket will fit nicely within this area here, so I've done these little cutouts, and we'll see how thick it needs to be. Okay, I've just done a load in, set the printer, got TPU in here, This is a flexible filament, and we'll make a gasket. So this would be like a rubber surround. So this we get the Z right on this. See, gotcha. So you can see it there, it's already starting to lay. Just got to find that sweet spot, you know, with these filaments. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, it's at 115 now, I'll leave it there actually. It's at 100. Seems to be printing quite well. So I'll let it go, so there we go. Printing along quite well. Just halfway. It's only 1 millimeter. So what I end up doing is I end up finish printing that little piece, that template that I want to use as a jig, and that way what happens, this little jig goes over the cut perspex. It should fit well if I measured it well. Yeah, it does. And the idea is so that I can just drill the holes in a perfect spot. Now you can use a CNC to cut this particular perspex, but I don't want to fire it up. This is just easy enough to do. And so now I've got a little jig for part of the kit. So the gasket's inside. I'll show a little video how I put that together. But I'm just currently printing another gasket that goes between the port and the box. So this is a full piece. This has taken thus far 11 hours to print, and I've got 3 more hours to go. So you can see what it is. It's just a gasket, a rubber seal that will go in between. I'll just just move this out of the way. They'll go in between. Just move out of the way too. Just in between here. That way it's a good seal between this area. You should see the rubber in here a little bit too, which will give it a nice finish. But I'll pull the port off and I'll show you what that looks like too. That's the perspex and that's the gasket. And I'm quite astounded in how rubbery this thing is. This is a true gasket, a true rubber gasket. I mean, what a beautiful little way of printing something, eh? And what a great application for it, really. So that fits perfectly. Now that what I'll do is I'll use a jig and drill those holes. I'm going to drop that. So I'll put that jig over it now. That way I get the holes perfectly. And once I've drilled the holes, I'll put that on and then find some bolts to match that. Get a better view for you. This is the other side. So that's ready to go. Waiting for that. Once that other one gets printed, this piece here, I will print another one out. I might as well start actually because I've got a few spare printers left. I've got Mr. Mac here sleeping. Mr. Mac. He's out of it. Hey! Mac! Mac! What you doing, buddy? 11 years old. So what's that in cat years? 77. Sorry, mate. Back to sleep, huh? You must love the sound of the printers going. Well, anyway, stand by.